Everybody, what's up? Want to let you in on some exciting stuff, but I get too excited often and I miss I talk so much and then I miss the focal point of what I'm here to talk about. So I'm teachable, I'm learning, and I'm trying to get better at that sort of thing. So I'm just kicking this thing off by telling you exactly what this is all about. And then if you're interested in this, you can listen to the next 10 minutes and get some more details and probably get answers to a lot of your initial questions that you have after just hearing this little snapshot. So the snapshot is that I'm starting 3 different digital gatherings online, all 3 of them only 5 spots each. This is kind of putting an experiment out there to see just the best way of doing this, how many people are interested in those sorts of things. But I'm super excited because I think it's something, just given by the emails that I've received from all of you guys, it seems like something that a lot of people's interested in. So 3 different digital groups. They'll meet over the course of a month, weekly, regular time sort of thing. The first group will basically discuss spiritual changes. A lot of people call it deconstruction. I just call it change and rethinking and recalibrating and system updates and all of that. But oftentimes people find themselves in a place where they don't have anyone to talk to, and they don't feel like they can relate to folks at their church. And we have a lot of listeners that just basically say, man, I would love to talk a little more in depth. Well, that's what this group is about. But there will, with Joey Svendsen leading it, and so I will have some sort of direction that will try to go in regards to some of the stuff that I've learned over the past few years that has just helped me with all of these spiritual questions and changes and all of that. So that will be the first group, and these groups will cost, if I haven't mentioned that already. The second group will be just like the first, except specifically geared towards ministry workers, pastors, people that volunteer in churches, and people that, quite frankly, they want to make it work. They want to change in their beliefs, but also stick it out in churches, maybe some of them evangelical churches, and that is something very worthwhile talking through. The third group will be a group that's basically for people that struggle with mental illness. I cannot believe the amount of people that email me asking me questions, and something they all say is, I just don't have anyone else to talk to about this. And so I thought, man, why don't we gather 5 other people, including me and 5 other people, and actually practice talking about our mental illness and talk about what we can do to kind of change the stigma. But there's just all sorts of conversations that relate to that. And so there's 3 different gatherings. All 3 of them will only have 5 openings. The email is a very grassroots approach as far as getting more information. You just email me at joeysvensenbc@gmail.com. That's joeysvensenbc@gmail.com to get more information and also to secure a digital seat, so to speak, because honestly, there's, like I said, 15 openings. So would love to have you as a part of them. So email me, and like I said, the rest of the episode will basically just be a little more details. Thank you guys for being dedicated listeners. Man, this has been a crazy minute. The minute I'm referring to is like the last 5 years of this bad Christian outfit, because it's been well over 5 years since you met the lead singer of Emery's best friend named Joey Svendsen. You're like, who is this guy desperately hanging on success coattails of my idol, Toby Morrell? Whoever he is, he's pathetic. But it worked out for me, and now I'm on the ends with this whole podcasting thing, this talking thing. And it's been crazy to know there's been so many people who have been listening to me from the beginning. And one thing I didn't intentionally set out to do was change drastically in front of so many listeners. And not all the change has been necessarily good change, but I'll tell you this, it's been real the whole time. And I love when you guys reach out to me and express in such a natural and easygoing sort of manner about deep stuff you're going through. It's like I'm a trusted voice in your life, and I can rest well at night knowing that it ain't because I've demonstrated a life that's like put together all these years. If you trust me after hearing all this stuff on the podcast, you just simply trust the honesty I'm willing to have while searching and figuring stuff out. That's it. But with all this change, one thing that I haven't changed in is my conviction of how badly we need other people, just in general, but especially if we're going to spend 1 second trifling with like the super deep things in life or making sense out of a relationship that we're convinced we have with God infinite. It's been nice to see many folks finding other like-minded folks through the social media outlets on lots of the channels I'm a part of, and y'all are so good at just getting out there and getting your community on, man. But there's some people cut from a different cloth that would love to dip their toes in seeking out new community, and maybe specifically to help process new thoughts, like a very intentional, let's hang out, be community, but this is what I want to do, like a group intentionally for community, but with an agenda. Yeah. Some of you don't have this opportunity anywhere else, and I know because you've emailed me and we've talked about this sort of thing. So I'm rolling out an experiment to confirm a suspicion I have, and this is my suspicion is that this sort of thing is very important to people, and I'm super excited about it. It's actually what I want to spend time doing, because I don't know a lot about a lot of stuff, but I love talking about it all, and I've been tasked with the assignment of leading talking groups basically of people for like the last 18 years, and a lot of these people that I've done this with, they're like family to me, so it really is something that's near and dear to my heart, and I hate boring and surfacey conversations, so when I'm leading them, I refuse to be in groups that have either one. So I want to roll out 3 groups that will meet 5 times for an hour each time over the course of like a month. And I'm going to likely find that we are not only willing to invest our time in this, we're also willing to invest money into something like this. Well, that seems shallow, spending money on relationships. Yeah, like Match.com, those guys suck. So in the next few months, I'll meet digitally with 5 paying people who want to be a part of figuring out an easier way to belong digitally when we just can't find a place anywhere else. And the first group of 5 people will be groups called Accept God. That's EXEPT, Accept God. This will be a group that meets to discuss personal paths of immense changing and what holding on to God has looked like for all of us, because we've had no plans of letting go of God because he's too real for us. So during these times, I intend to personally be extremely open and generous with my honesty, share things I've learned on my journey, no matter how dark or laughable it is. But I look forward to hearing about and gleaning from other folks too. And I'll just say this, that in the whole process of whatever you want to call it, deconstruction, recalibration, I'll call it change, I currently find myself on the other end where it's considerably and consistently peaceful, kind of unrestful but comfortable part of the journey. There may be more pain to come in this area of thinking, but I feel honestly I'm on the other side of most of the hard and long and troublesome, tense, agonizing, fearful season of being honest about the conflict in our heads within a religion that makes it scary for people to have this conflict, because a lot of times the conflict ends with arriving at, I don't know what I think, and I just want to be able to talk that out. So that group is called Accept God. It's for people that don't want anything else anymore except God. And they'll meet 5 times for an hour, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be an introductory rate of $100 for the whole thing, beginning to end. That feels right to me. I know people pay way more for things, way less valuable, but at the end of the day, no one has to pay anything if you're not interested. The other 2 groups will be one will be just like the first, except it will be specifically for pastors and people that are in church environments and things just aren't feeling right anymore, but for some reason or another, you still want to make it work longer. I've made this work for a very long time, and I'm very glad, because the people at Seacoast who I've learned from have made me better for it. I'll always need the men and women over there who I'm still in community with, but I'll always need them. They've taught me so much and loved me through my hang-ups and shortcomings. So the long-term relationship, though, that I just described wouldn't have been possible if I couldn't put up with the heat of doubting, I guess, amongst those who seem to be good to go in areas I can't seem to be good to go in, I guess is how I'll say it. And lastly and thirdly, I'm going to gather a mental illness confession and support group where we'll focus on the practice of honesty and vulnerability in the context of mental health. There's a wealth of knowledge out there for all of us, and I've taken advantage of a lot of it. Books, counselors, my personal counselors, my mistakes being a counselor myself. And I want to learn more with some other folks, and I bet there's folks who want to do the same. So maybe some of you just would love a group like this because you know that in this specific season of your life, the best therapy you could have is just a safe place to open up and feel normal around other people who are doing the same. And maybe you trust this guy talking to have a group that you'd be comfortable in. I don't know. So both of those second and third groups will be $100 as well for 5 1-hour hangout times, and I can't wait to see some of these groups end up meeting amongst themselves indefinitely when the formal part is over. It's going to be fun keeping up with that myself. So email me, joeysvendsenbc@gmail.com. It's in the show notes if you don't know how to spell my last name. This is one of few of the big things I'm rolling out, and I'm so excited to see something really good come out of it. So maybe you're listening and you feel the same way, and your mind's already racing with all sorts of things that can be done with this sort of thing with just some intentionality. Well, the best way of getting involved and being a part of figuring this stuff out is to join one of these groups yourselves. But either way, I'd love to hear people's comments and or questions. So email joeysvendsenbc@gmail.com so I can get those comments and questions from you, and use this email address to express interest in joining a group yourself. So I'd do that soon, honestly, because in this grassroots phase, 15 digital seats, so to speak. You like that? Digital seats? They're not going to last. So these groups will adapt to find a schedule of meetings that work for most everyone in the group. It may not be possible to get a schedule that works for everyone, but we'll do our best. I look forward to doing this with a lot of you folks and spread the news.